Members of the LGBTQ community.
Even for Asia Davis on the first day of Pride.
And it just, again, goes to show the brutality that my community faces, even during a month where they're supposed to be celebrating being their authentic self.
Yvette is a victim advocate for the LGBTQ community. She often points out that the average life expectancy for a transgender woman of color is just 35 years old, and that Asia Davis was just shy of her 35th.
News of a big break in this case.
Truly a big break. A tragedy here at the Woodward Inn, but it happened months ago. Really just one clue to this one is this 24-hour video, good cameras here. That gave NSP something to go on. They truly called this investigation a whodunit. Well, it has been solved, and now Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy made the announcement today.
She was beloved in her community, and she was known to be generous and a compassionate person, according to her family and many, many friends.
All right, what's up with it, y'all? I'm back again with another video. And listen, man, this situation right here is so weird and crazy, but we're finna get straight into all of this. But before we do, I just want to tell y'all that I hope that everything is okay in your life, and I'm wishing y'all nothing but the best in every aspect of your life. And yeah, man, you know, I just hope that everything is okay with you physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I'm sending y'all nothing but peace, blessings, and prosperous energy our way. And I'm only talking to my supporters when I say this, and to those who reciprocate the same energy back to me. I hope that y'all did receive that. Let's go ahead and get into this story, because we got a lot to talk about and a lot to watch. So listen, this situation right here is crazy as hell. So long story short, it was a guy by the name of Carlos Scotland. Now he's 18 years old, or was 18 years old at the time. But anyway, he ended up taking a young lady's life, a young male's life, a transgender's life, however y'all want to put it. I'm not here to argue with nobody or please nobody. I'm just going with the flow right now. But anyway, long story short, she was a member of the LGBTQ community, and he actually took her life because she was trans, in my personal opinion. Now, I don't know. I know it's deeper than that, but this is just basically what it all boils down to. Now, I feel like, me personally, either he felt like somebody was going to find out about them, or they had words or something like that. I really don't know. And what's so crazy about the whole situation is they're not letting anybody know what they have to actually implement him in this murder. Now, it's crazy because how wouldn't you know that it was a trans if they didn't get the full surgery? So obviously he knew. That's why I feel like that he felt like people were going to find out, or they had words or something like that. But I do want to say RIP to her, and I want to say her, him, however y'all want to do it. Like I said before, I'm not here to argue with nobody or nothing like this. But RIP, and I want to send my condolences out to the family and everybody out there that had a genuine love for this person. Now, for this crazy fucker, he in jail. I mean, he in jail. He in court, slanging his neck all around, popping his wrist, can't stay up, he falling asleep in court and everything like that. And now the lawyer is saying that he's not fit to stand trial in court, which is obvious to me. If he can stand up and walk to a person and take their life, and stand up and walk his ass out the room and go somewhere else, he definitely can get in that courtroom and do what he got to do to go ahead and get what he needs to get. Now, if they got bona fide facts like they said they do, he's definitely cooked, because he did this on the first day of Pride Month. And a lot of people are, you know, I can keep it 100 with y'all. I'm going to. A lot of people are pandering to the LGBTQ community because of the backlash that they're getting, stuff like that. So, you know, yeah, they want to make an example out of people who are out here doing things to them, which I feel like we all are human, we all are equal, and things like that. And I feel like everybody should be maxed out when they do weirdo stuff like this. But I already know how it's going to go in this situation right here. They're going to make an example out that boy. You know, anyway, let's go ahead and get into this video. It's a lot more details that I did not put in this segment of what I'm speaking on. We're finna get into the video and watch all of that. But I do want to know your thoughts and opinions on this situation. And make sure y'all hitting that like button, bro. I'm dropping consistent content back to back to back. And that's all I ask y'all to do. Other than that, let's get into this and see what the hell is going on.
A cold case is finally solved. Let's get out to Highland Park in Shawn Lled, where a woman was shot. Shawn, you have news of a big break in this case.
Truly a big break. A tragedy here at the Woodward Inn, but it happened months ago. Really just one clue to this one is this 24-hour video, good cameras here. That gave NSP something to go on. They truly called this investigation a whodunit. Well, it has been solved, and now Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy made the announcement today.
She was beloved in her community, and she was known to be generous and a compassionate person, according to her family and many, many friends.
Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy highlighting the tragic and mysterious Asia Davis. Let me take you back to June 1st, 2023, and the Woodward Inn in Highland Park. A security camera capturing this person coming in, then running out. But that person wasn't captured for months. That night, police finding the body of the 36-year-old Asia Davis in her room. She had been shot in her head.
It is alleged that the defendant shot her. At the time of her death, she had recently completed nursing school and was going to start a new job when her life was tragically cut short.
At last, a break in what was a very cold case. This 18-year-old Carlos Lamar Scotland was arrested this week and charged with Davis's.
Carlos Lamar Scotland is 18 years old.
Oh yeah. Now, if you're new here and things like that, I do sequence of events letting you know what happened from the beginning to the end. God damn, what is cousin doing? Anyway, go long story short, it's just crazy that that this took place so long and it went cold for so long, but it is a blessing that everything came out to the light because it definitely needed to be seen, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, back to what I was saying though, I do a sequence of events and this didn't happen this week. Just so you know, I want to make sure that is clear. This happened a couple of weeks ago, months ago, but the recent updates are towards the end of the video. Let's get back into it.
He has been charged with the following offenses: first-degree murder, felony firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, and resisting and obstructing a police officer.
Back here live at the Woodward Inn in Highland Park. That's an 18-year-old now facing all of those charges. Prosecutor Worthy says we'll learn more about the circumstances of what went down here when he goes to court in a couple of weeks. We had questions though. NSP was the investigator here. It's the Special Investigations Unit. They got the case assigned to Detective Sergeant James Plummer. Never gave up, made the arrest. We're live at Highland Park. Sean, thank you.
Okay, Sean, thank
She
you.
was loving, she was kind, she fed animals, she always stopped and helped homeless people.
Julissa Abad lost a best friend when 34-year-old Asia Davis was 9 months ago. Her body found at the Woodward Inn located in Highland Park.
She was tragically and coincidentally on the first day of Pride Month, June 1st of 2023.
But now, 9 months later, an arrest and arraignment. 18-year-old Carlos Lamar Scotland of Highland Park accused of Asia Davis in that motel room last year when Scotland was just 17 and a half years old.
He has been charged with the following offenses: first-degree murder, felony firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, and resisting and obstructing a police officer.
Davis had been shot, and initially Michigan State Police had little to go on. Grainy video of a guy in a blue hoodie walking through the motel parking lot and later running away.
This is the work of our Special Investigation Section. Detective Sergeant James Plummer, he put this case together from scratch. This was a real whodunit when it first started.
Now prosecutors say they can prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. They refuse to discuss a possible motive, but acknowledged the dangerous stigma many trans people encounter.
I absolutely think that there's a very big atmosphere of hate for the LGBTQ community. I feel like people are more brazen. They don't hide in the shadows as much as they used to when they go after members of the LGBTQ community.
Even for Asia Davis on the first day of Pride.
And it just, again, goes to show the brutality that my community faces, even during a month where they're supposed to be celebrating being their authentic self.
Abad is a victim advocate for the LGBTQ community. She often points out that the average life expectancy for a transgender woman of color is just 35 years old, and that Asia Davis was just shy of her 35th birthday.
And look, I want to say this right here. When it comes to like not liking trans or LGBTQ and things like that, it's really not. Well, a lot of people do have a problem with them. I'm gonna say that. And if you're new here and you don't know nothing about me, I don't give a damn about what you are, who you claim to be, none of that. What you do in the bedroom, who you popping it and throwing it on, and none of that type of stuff. I just want to make that clear. But I think a lot of people do have an issue with the way that people hide it, and then people find out. That's why they spaz out and go crazy. Not saying that this the case with this right here, because I feel like he knew about it. He was just probably nervous or scared for people to find out and things like that. But a lot of the times, man, a lot of the cases that I see and do videos about is really when somebody found out after the fact or they got lied to and things like that. But I'm just saying that to make sure that people understand that it's not totally just that they don't like the people. It's really more so like a mixture, you know. But a lot of the times people do pass away because they were, you know, misleading a person, lying to them and things like that. I just want to say that. Let's get back into it.
A tragedy and a crime that is coming closer to closure for the victim's family and friends, and closer to justice.
We hope that will send another message to everyone that we're serious about prosecuting these cases.
In Detroit, Amy Lang, Fox 2.
A Wayne County judge ruled this afternoon that there is enough evidence for the man accused of a transgender woman in Highland Park to stand trial. You may remember the first day of testimony on Tuesday ended with that. A man abruptly falling asleep. He's the defendant right there in court. Today, Andres Gutierrez is live outside 30th District Court with the latest twist in this case. Andres.
Well, Rochelle, we'll start off by pointing out that the suspect, Carlos Scotland, did not cause a scene in court today. He seemed totally disinterested in what was going on, but now his brother is in trouble for trying to influence this case. This morning, Joshua Martin was charged with 3 counts of obstruction of justice and 3 counts for, quote, inciting or procuring one to commit perjury. I'm told that the 26-year-old, who's already serving time in the Michigan Department of Corrections, allegedly tried to get witnesses to file false statements with police to help his brother out with his alibi. Obviously, that is a big no-no. However, that did not impact this hearing, in which the prosecutor presented 3 key pieces of evidence: the surveillance video of Scotland walking into Asia Davis's room at the Woodward Inn back in June of 2023, the medical examiner report, and a graphic photo of the crime scene.
Miss Davis didn't even know what was coming. It's consistent with her sitting on the edge of the bed, facing with her back to the defendant. The defendant then comes up and, by his own admission, shoots her. But he claims her in the face or the neck, again suggesting she's facing towards him and there's some type of altercation going on. Well, the medical examiner's testimony tells us that didn't happen either. He literally shot her execution style at close range in the back. So again, that goes to the issue of premeditation and deliberation. When he was communicating with the victim prior to going over there, Your Honor, he armed himself with a gun. He armed himself with a gun and had to make sure it was loaded. Again, all going to the issue of premeditation and deliberation that was formed as he walked his way over to meet up with Miss Davis.
And so the judge agreed that there is enough probable cause for premeditation, for felony firearm, and carrying a concealed weapon. He'll go to trial for those. However, there was not enough evidence for the charge of resisting and obstructing an officer, so he's not going to be held on that 4th charge. The next court hearing is set for next Thursday at Wayne County Circuit Court. However, right now they are in the process of moving to that new criminal justice center, so this hearing may be delayed. We'll keep you posted. Reporting live in Highland Park this afternoon.
Okay, so now the press conference is about to come up. Like, it took place a little bit ago, but I do want to say one more thing about this whole situation. And, you know, like, the more you just sit back and just analyze and see how things are going, people are really going crazy, bro. Like, I know we know this and it's been happening. Just hear me out, though. If you're intellectual and things like that, I ain't finna get too deep into it, but after certain things have occurred in the past couple of years and recently, it seems like people are going crazier and crazier, and it's just crazy to me. I don't know. You know, I really want to know y'all thoughts and opinions on that. What the hell y'all think it is? You know, I got my thoughts and opinions, but I don't want to say certain things, especially on YouTube, because they be tripping. But let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on this. Let's get into this press conference, though.
Afternoon, Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Detroit.
One of the main reasons why I wanted to help start a unit that focused on crimes against the LGBT community was because of cases like this. In fact, exactly because of cases like this. In 2016, I approached now Attorney General Dana Nessel, who had the idea, after I talked to her, to form the Fair Michigan Justice Project. And back in 2016, I was concerned and actually lost sleep because in the Palmer Park section in Detroit, there were many unsolved cases of trans women of color. No one seemed to care at all. I mean, no one. Nothing was really being done. No one was really investigating, and their lives seemed to matter to no one. And out of that, as I said, the Fair Michigan Justice Project was born by Attorney General Dana Nessel. The thing about my job is that I represent all of the people of the state of Michigan. all of them, regardless of color, regardless of race, national or ethnic origin, sex, age, gender, gender expression or identity, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, or economic status or disability. Represent everybody in Wayne County. Today we announce, this afternoon, charges against Carlos Lamar Scotland in connection with the fatal of Asia Davis. Asia Davis was one of those not one of those cases back then, but one of those transgender women of color whose cases at the time were not being paid attention to at all. And she was murdered tragically and coincidentally on the first day of Pride Month, June 1st of 2023. She was beloved in her community, and she was known to be generous and a compassionate person, according to her family and many, many friends. It is alleged that the defendant children. At the time of her death, she had recently completed nursing school and was going to start a new job when her life was tragically cut short. On June 1st, the date that I mentioned earlier, at approximately 11 p.m., Highland Park police officers were dispatched to the hotel at 16300 in the 16300 block of Woodward Avenue for reported shooting, and upon their arrival, they located her inside of a hotel room, deceased. We are alleging today that the defendant Scotland fired a handgun, fatally shooting Ms. Davis before fleeing the scene. After an extensive, and I mean extensive and comprehensive investigation by the Michigan State Police, this led to the arrest of the defendant just this week, March 12th of 2024. More specific facts will be introduced into evidence at the preliminary examination. Let me further say that Carlos Lamar Scotland is 18 years old. He has been charged with the following offenses: first-degree murder, felony firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, and resisting and obstructing a police officer. The defendant, of course, is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. He was arraigned earlier today by Highland Park District Court Judge Bridget Officer Holly. The probable cause conference is scheduled for March the 26th of this year. I'll take any questions you may have at this time.
I think at the time you had maybe a picture or video, not much to go on. I think maybe it was a blue, sweatshirt or something. Were you able to get tips that helped with this, or how? I know you can't get into all the details of the investigation, but was the public helpful at all in?
I'll let him answer the question.
So we did receive some few tips. Sure. Yep. We did receive a few tips here and there, but quite honestly, this was the work of our special investigation section. Detective Sergeant James Plummer.
No, boy, so this is not
put this case together from scratch. This was a real whodunit when it first started. I mean, it really, really was. And it was through their extensive work that they were able to do that. We got a couple of tips here and there, but this was solved by the hard work of the men and women of that special investigation section. And I just want to echo the prosecutor. We're trying to build a Michigan where everyone feels safe and secure. And it doesn't matter anything about you. We just want you to be feeling safe in the state of Michigan. And that's what we're trying to do here today.
Can you speak to motive at all, or if these two knew each other, or if this was random?
We won't speak to anything like that. Anything specific about this case other than what I mentioned will come out in court.
Cam, is this, you joined the Fair Michigan within the last couple of years, and is this the first one that you've had, first murder that you've had since coming on board, or have there been others?
No, I charged the Deontay Close case, and that has been in the press as well. So no, this is not the first case I've charged in my role as the special prosecutor for the Fair Michigan Justice Project.
When you see this happen yet again, knowing that the prosecutor Worthy and David Nessel, got together on this several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've been covering it because they've happened too. And having come into this within the last couple of years after doing homicide here for so many years, it must just be alarming that these continue to happen, and you always have to wonder, is there some kind of element of hate that goes into a crime like this?
Well, I absolutely think that there's a very big atmosphere of hate for the LGBTQ community, and that's something that, you know, was a focus of Fair Michigan being started to begin with. So not only charging, but it's also important because we go into the community and work with law enforcement and do cultural competency training. So in many ways, I think that the boots on the ground have a huge impact on combating hate and reaching out to the LGBTQ community for them to feel seen and heard and cooperate in these kind of cases. So Fair Michigan is a really important mission, and it's done really well so far, and I'm very proud to be part of it.
Kim, I know you just told me you can't comment, but I'm going to ask it anyway in regard to, was there an element of hate in this that you can at least talk about, or nothing means nothing as far as talking?
Well, again, specifically, I'm not going to mention any details. I think we don't want to in any way at all, and I know you don't want to either, jeopardize the case going forward. So we're not going to put out motives or anything like that, or whether they knew each other. That will all come out in any court proceedings that occur after this.
You talked about Fair Michigan and the cases that many ignored for years here. Today, how would you depict cases against trans individuals in Detroit, whether they've been on the rise, whether they've been just steady for many years and we've just never really focused or heard about them? I mean, you know.
I think all that is true, but I would like to think that here in Wayne County, at least the trans community here, and the wonderful trans advocate, Julissa Abad, that we have working in that community and also living in that community, it has done something to give encouragement that we stand behind them, that we will take their cases seriously, that it doesn't matter to us anything about you, and that in terms of we're going to treat everybody the same and give them the same attention that they deserve and they should have had all this time. The reason why, and one of the reasons why, not just the 6 trans women of color that were murdered in Palmer Park years ago, around 2016, that people were ignoring, but because of the whole LGBTQ community. And we hope that we've given them some solace in the fact that we support them and we will take their crime seriously as well. And we think we do have some modicum of support, and we think we do have modicum of trust as well. Much more can be done. Like you said, these things continue to happen, and they will probably continue to happen after this, but we're going to do whatever we can. And when Cam prosecutes the case and gets a just result, we hope that will send another message to everyone that we're serious about prosecuting these cases.
Yeah, would you mind addressing that question as well? I'm not looking for statistics necessarily, but as a layperson, I have no idea what the proliferation of these crimes are, whether they've gotten worse in the recent years, or what you would say about the environment.
So I can't really say whether they got the right thing. I keep trying to stay out of frame, to be honest. You know, having worked in this office for 30 years before I took this job, I have a general sense of, you know, homicide rates in general, but specifically to the LGBTQ community, I can't really address that. I will say this, I feel like people are more brazen. They don't hide in the shadows as much as they used to when they go after members of the LGBTQ community. So I can say I've seen that as a change, that they feel more emboldened and more empowered to just act out in a way that they normally wouldn't. So I see that. But as far as a historical analysis of members of the LGBTQ community being homicide victims, I don't know that at my fingertips. But again, I just feel like there's more of a target on their back, and people are responding to that in negative ways.
And I think all we have to do is look and see what's happening across this country to this community. And again, here, we're going to take this seriously. And here, we're going to prosecute if we can prove the case beyond reasonable doubt.
Just the fact that he's only 18 years old, that's so troubling. You know, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
It's troubling on many levels. It's troubling when we have youth crime, period. For people that are so young to commit violent crime, it's all troubling. It doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon, but again, we can only do what we can do when we can prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. And because of the efforts of the Michigan State Police here, they literally take this case from almost nothing and develop it into a case that we know that we can prove in court beyond a reasonable doubt.
For point of clarity, was he?
But I do want to say that they're not giving their fair share to the people who gave them tips. There's no way in the hell you could have just got something out of thin air. You got a tip that leads you to get what you got. You know, and I appreciate them doing what they do and things like that. I just hate that a lot of people don't get their credit when they need it, you know, like, and I know you can't probably tell on people and say they told you this and told you that, but still say the public help. You know, that's just how I feel, man. You know, anytime I do anything, I always try to let people know this is why I did it, or this who put me on, or this is, you know what I'm saying? Try to get some type of credit here and there, you know. But hey, it is what it is, different strokes for different folks. But yeah, to be 18 years old, you know, And I don't understand what was up with the age dynamic, 17 and 36 years old, like what made her deal with him, or did she know, or whatever the case may be. It's just like, I ain't gonna say it, man. I ain't gonna say it. I just wish that people, make everything clear from beginning to the end on both sides. You feel me? Maybe she didn't know. Maybe he did tell her she didn't give a damn. Whatever the case may be, it's still no justification for what happened. It's still no justification for what happened. I'm just saying. Let's get back into it.
Minor at the time of the alleged incident?
Under Michigan law, the raise the age, yes.
So he was 17 last summer?
17 and a half, I believe.
The attorney representing the man accused, a 34-year-old Asia Davis, says the suspect is not fit to stand trial. Police say Davis is a transgender woman who was killed on Woodward last June.
18-year-old Carlos
Look at this slow
Scotland
fucker
was
walking
charged
out.
with Davis last month. State police say Scotland is the person seen leaving the Woodward Inn the night Davis was.
At today's preliminary hearing, the judge ordered a mental competency exam for Scotland. Trans advocate Julissa Abad says the delay in court is unfortunate, but the community will keep fighting for justice.
I'm going to be at every court date, so the next one is set for July. I'm going to make sure that community comes as well. Sometimes, particularly when it comes to trans women of color, they are looked at as throwaways or not loved, and she had family and people that loved her and supported her, so I'm going to make sure that we show that during this whole process until she gets justice.
Davis's family says she had just finished nursing school and was ready to start her new job. If convicted, Scotland could spend life behind bars.
So joining us live with reaction to this case is Zaire Kapana, Executive Director of LGBT Detroit, and Troy Kennedy, a board member of LGBT Detroit. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So as we continue to look into this case, there is a lot of frustration. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling really sad. My heart and prayers go to the Davis family. This is a tragic loss. It's devastating for all who've known her, family and friends, and so the first concern is the well-being of the family.
Yeah, we just heard Julissa Abad say there that trans lives are often just seen as throwaways. Explain that. Why do people feel that way?
Well, unfortunately, in the society that we're in today, in the political climate, we're seeing a lot of just hate and one side of the aisle, literally making this a wedge issue when it truly is not. All lives do matter, but trans lives matter. Black trans women have been at the forefront of violence, and nobody is addressing it. And it's a shame that this young man went that route, but he has to be held accountable. You can't continue to allow people to say that I'm crazy or to use those excuses.
Facts.
There has to be accountability.
Can you talk about some of the work that's being done to change that narrative?
Well, some of the work that we are doing is there are a lot of men who do date trans women, but most of them do it in shame, in secret,
undercover,
in the shadows. What we're doing is trying to get those men to step up, because if you continue to hide, what you're doing, you're adding to the stigma, you're adding to the ostracization, and you're adding to a lot of the problems that are happening. And most of these men don't have an outlet, and so they turn to violence, and violence is not an answer.
Can you talk about the specific and extra threat that Black trans women face?
It is really incredible when we talk about disparities, and so there are a number of health disparities, mental health, physical health, and so for those who struggle with expression, there's very few places where they can safely express themselves. And of course, when it comes to meeting people perhaps intimately, to be free to share who they are could take some time. And during that time, there's probably a crisis, a quiet crisis happening. And so, everyone wants to be accepted, everyone wants to be loved, but unfortunately,
but yeah, man, that's the end of that situation, man. I really do hope that they get the justice that they deserve in that situation. And when I say they, I'm talking about the family and the friends and anybody who had a genuine love for her. It's just crazy, sad, and unfortunate that these things are happening consistently, especially when you're the one who are initiating a lot of things. Because a lot of dudes go after trans and then they get mad when people start finding out, a little rumors start coming out here and there. You got to hold yourself accountable, like that man was saying a while ago, and you got to really just walk into your truth. I mean, you ain't gonna get no whooping, bro. Just go ahead and let people know you like boys. Hey, if you like them boys, go ahead and say it, cuz ain't no point in lying and sugarcoating and playing and, causing all this confusion and things like that. That's just my personal opinion on this. But yes, I hope that if it's him who did this, that he gets the maximum sentence, like all the way. They talking about mental health evaluations and all that other type of BS, bro. Come on now. You knew what you was doing when you was doing it, and can't nobody stop you at the time, and couldn't nobody stop you at the time. So yes, I feel like you should be held accountable 100%. But hey, that's my personal thoughts and opinions on this situation. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this situation, and I will holler at y'all later on another video. All right.